Quetzali champion.
I'm Innofunni, Polysseum champion, as well as high-stakes Polytopia player.
So we're going to do a review of the highlights of the Quetzali Polysseum. We'll go through some of the weekly qualifier tournaments, and then we'll also do the big champion game. So this is a game between Alex Three King and Anonym, and there's a really neat moment with a cloak. The cloak gets made on turn 14. Let's see.
Yep, right here on that green player's capital, we're going to see a cloak pop up. Little did they know, it is in our yellow player's vision.
Right.
He's going to start preparing for it. One of the best things you can use against cloak are riders. And that's why he's going to train those 2 riders on his big cities.
The thing is, yellow knows, okay, they see the cloak. There's really only one spot, logically, for that cloak to go to, right? And that's the monument. So how to deal with it?
The green player is going to make it as difficult as possible for our yellow player to try to clear it out. They're going to go ahead and put up this giant on there, try to make it difficult for any of these riders to reach that tile. However, this is why riders are so great against cloak. They have bounce. They're able to attack and move again.
They use a road.
So he's good.
They use the road to move in there, and then let's see the bounce.
Yeah, we don't really see the bounce, but what we do see is this rider changes its angle and the cloak is revealed, which makes it unable to infiltrate this capital city it was otherwise.
Nice. Yeah, because once you reveal a cloak, it can't attack the next turn. So this is a game. This game is the Brainiac versus Viking the Cat, and there's an interesting play using spiritualism. We don't usually see that tech in these games. Where is that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. You might see spiritualism pop up from a ruin, but right now he doesn't even have archery. Archery is common, but if you don't have archery, how are you going to get spiritualism? Well, the answer is 2 ruins. 1 archery, 1 spiritualism, right back to back.
Whoa! So he does get it from a ruin, but back-to-back ruins. Oh, that's very unusual. So then he puts it to use.
Yep, here on turn 14, he's got this giant that he needs to make, and he uses spiritualism to create that forest, which makes a lumber hut on.
Oh, nice.
Which pushes his catapult forward. Makes it really difficult for Viking to do anything.
I love a good giant push and then to use your catapult to hit, because when you push, that catapult still gets a hit. I love it.
Absolutely. And it's something that, you know, your opponent's never going to see coming.
So this is a quarterfinals game between Ino and Estrella, and there's a cool night chain at the end, right?
Yes, absolutely. One of the most important things about knights, even if they're not getting chains, they're always threatening your opponent. If your opponent wants to clump up a bunch of their units so that they can make the most use of their tiles, the knight's just there telling them they can't do it. The only important thing about that is you have to be actually threatening something, because if your opponent starts doing that and your knights aren't there, it's not actually helping you at all.
So green is threatening with their knight? Let's see.
Yeah, green's been threatening with their knights the whole game. But our yellow player thinks that this chain is safe, that they can finally clump their units because of this wall defender. Unfortunately, they thought wrong. We're going to see this chain come off. With just enough unit, you're going to be able to pull in that very last rider.
Is that a mind bender?
And the chain goes well.
Oh, wow.
2, 4, 5, 6, and it keeps going. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, hit into veteran. 12 units were affected by that chain, and big resignation there makes sense.
Amazing. Wow. So this game is from the finals of one of the Quetzali qualifier tournaments. It's between players Innofunni, who we have with us today, and ObeseReece. Yeah, right? So tell us about this, Innofunni.
Yeah, this has been, a very interesting map this whole game. You'd think every advantage goes to this green player here, but they've got some bad resources. No good. There's been a lot of stuff going on over in the east, but all of the fireworks want to drag our attention over to this west here, right where this capital and the giant are.
Let's look at the fireworks. Yeah.
I'm going to look at this turn 13 here, what goes on, and then also the very last turn of the game.
Oh, wait, so what happened with the ruins over there in the east?
Oh, yeah, this is quite nice. our gray player is trying to expand out over here into the east part of the map, but they don't really have a super great hold of it because they don't have a ton of units that they've trained. So our green player is able to go ahead and pick up a siege here and use that same road that they used for their warrior to move up there to slide their defender on the ruin. This secures the ruin for the defender. Maybe it'll get him a veteran swordsman, a better hold over here, start threatening a siege. But at the very least, it gives the gray player something he needs to respond to. He needs to be on the defensive for a bit, which gives the green player more time to defend this otherwise weak, isolated city.
So the key there was using the road for double duty, both to siege the city and to claim the ruin.
Absolutely.
All right, what's the end? How does it end? There's some drama
The end
at
here,
the end.
yeah, it feels like, they're reaching a kind of equilibrium here. A few giants, a few archers here. Now it's the gray player's, I think, mistake here that leads to the game ending as soon as it does. They train a cloak here. They think it's safe behind all of those archers. That,
Where's the cloak? Can you zoom in? Oh, there it is.
Right there on the capital. They think the green player doesn't have enough units to pick it off, but they actually had this port that they made for a giant for this custom house that they dropped a ship into, giving them access to the capital.
So the port is, they build a port in that little pond, and that's what allowed them to reach the capital and kill the cloak?
Absolutely.
I love it. This is another game between ObeseReece and Innofunni. So tell us about this, Ino.
Yeah, I think this map was really what made this game so remarkable. I know it sticks out in my mind.
The map is interesting because there's this long, stretch of, like, we call that a river almost between the two, but then there's this one connection with a mountain. So you're forced to get a navy, but it's this really strange strip of shallow water.
It's very cut off from everything. You can't, cut through with knights here, really. None of that stuff. So you're going to have to, make a bunch of boats, but they're cut off because it's literally the one tile you can make boats, which is also, vulnerable to land units, and they have to worry about sending components.
Right. So this is another finals of a Quetzali weekly qualifier tournament between Obese and Ino. So tell us about this. I think there's a really key moment on turn 9 with a catapult.
Oh, absolutely. Big thing here is, and this is a tactic you're going to see time and time again in all of these games, is the best way to approach these early situations with Quetzali. You don't want riders really for combat. They take a lot of recoil. Archers, they're in the forestry tech branch. They help you get giants, and they give you these ranged units, which are great for, things that have shields like Quetzali. So
where's the catapult? Where's the catapult?
Yeah, Obese here is coming in with the archer, creating a lot of pressure on this.
There's
math
the
is necessary here. You're gonna pick up math to get your giants anyways. And if you see a warrior's about a siege, why don't you just go ahead, pick up 5 stars in the face of it, pick up a catapult.
Oh, look.
Obese is able to see.
He can't see that catapult because it's still in the fog.
It means it's out of range of those archers, and it's free to just do that thing.
Boom.
Unsiege that city.
But you were saying it wasn't enough, right?
Oh no, it was not enough. Unfortunately, catapults are great at dislodging a warrior from a city, not so great at dislodging a defender, and the city is still lost in the end.
As well as that beautiful Park of Fortune. Bye-bye, Park of Fortune.
The important part is that I'm going to siege him with a veteran defender.
So this is going to be... That's the 3rd kill for that defender. Dang.
That's the first. This is the first. On turn 14.
Oh, that's the first. Okay, sorry. That's the first. Okay, we got to watch
turn
that
14
defender.
Picks up 1 kill.
Can you zoom in on that defender?
That's as far.
It's going to kill that archer.
15.
That's kill number 2.
He picks up an archer. He keeps putting his units all right next to this defender. He doesn't seem to think that a defender has any possibility of being an offensive. How wrong he is.
Well,
on turn 16.
It's rare, but it can happen.
This archer moves in closer.
Ooh, kill number 3.
Now it has 3 kills, but it isn't promoted immediately since it's not in danger, and it can use that as healing. It actually doesn't use that again until the very end of the game. Oh, it's right here, north of this city that was stolen, unrightly from our green player. Clearing the city first with all these riders, walking away, and then promoting with the defender.
Look at that, a 20 hit point defender taking a city
The red
and
player
sieging. That's so unusual. I love it.
This game, we have a couple of top-notch players. Astria, who's going to be our gray player up in the north, versus Megas, our green player, our host down in the south that we see right here. So Espark, tell me, what's the big important play here?
Well, one thing I saw that was really smart from Estrella, I think it's on turn 8, he gets sailing and then he places, but the smart thing is he waits to get an explorer until he gets sailing. Otherwise, that explorer would be blocked by the mountain, right? But because he already has the sailing tech and can move onto the water, he gets to see the opponent's capital. Like, that's so effective. So the rest of the game is kind of a pattern that we're seeing from other games is Estrella gets on the water first, gets more naval units. It's interesting, Megas, you were saying he loves his catapults, right? But the catapults are not enough versus Estrella's battleship.
Huge disproportionate number of units in the water between the two as we get to the end here.
Yeah, you can just see Estrella has more units in the water, battleships, and even Megas's catapults in the back are not enough.
All right, in this game we've got PQ, green player, versus ObeseReece, my mortal enemy, the brown player over in the west. Can you tell me a little bit about what PQ does this turn?
Yeah, I saw something really interesting on turn 10. It's actually a pretty standard move. Can we go there? Where he gets a giant. Oh, let's see. Okay, keep going.
These stars.
Yeah.
He's making these chops.
Yeah. So he gets his first giant. Super unit, hello. And then he places a sawmill and he uses the Park of Fortune to get a second giant. This is really smart. Veteran players will do this. They know how to place their monuments, that first Park of Fortune, to get them a second giant.
Keeps popping off of all the giants. And what happens with these giants?
Yeah, so they're slowly, like, look, right? They're slowly advancing west. They're making a play. But the thing is, right, so Obese is already on the water.
You don't think the giants are in time with all those water units?
Well, there's 3 giants now, so they're looking pretty scary. But in this, I think the key is Obese is already on the water. He's got enough cities. He's making advances. Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll cut to the chase. And look at, oh my gosh, right? Brown has all the
horrifying.
Navy. All the Navy.
Yeah, he's got that giant siege on that city. That's a full health giant.
2 giants. Although there's only 1. But then look, here comes 3 battleships. Bye-bye, giant. So even though PQ had, right, the whole 4 giants moving, that Obese's navy was really strong enough to, you know, stop those giants. That was the key.
This is a finals game from the last of the weekly tournaments between Viking the Cat and Chris Krakens. Chris starts off our lime green player here with an explorer, which actually ends up being quite interesting in this game. It goes the right direction for him, and sometimes a good explorer is all you need. He's able to pick up vision on his opponent, our dark green Viking cat here, and that's going to instruct him to grab a warrior on his capital instead of a workshop right otherwise. He knows that Viking is going to want to step on this ruin, and he needs a warrior now so that it's in time to kick him off. Steps on the ruin, and on Chris's turn, he's going to kill it, and come his next turn, it's going to give him a fantastic result of veteran swordsman, immediately threatening a siege.
So the key there was planning ahead, that he saw the ruin, he knew that the opponent's warrior was coming, and instead of getting the workshop, he got a warrior. Very smart planning.
Absolutely.
And then
there's a later play too.
Yeah,
what can you tell me about this?
Yeah, the other thing that was interesting in this game was the night chain. We love a good night chain, right? You can't, I don't know, those are just fun. So here, right, let's see, you see the knight all the way in the back, and there's roads, right? Roads connecting up, and then using the archer and the warrior to hit that defender, and then bye-bye.
Bye, have a beautiful time.
Just plow through those archers. Those are fun.
A lot of players will assume that their 2 defenders can withstand anything until the knight shows up.
Knight and an archer and a warrior, but that's enough.
All right, this is from the monthly finals, so all the top 16 qualifying players from those weekly tournaments meet up here. This is Group B from the first stage round. This is Chris versus Megas, and Chris is going to pop off here. Can you tell me more about this play?
Yeah, so this is really unusual. You hardly ever see this, right? This is turn 10. So this city, right, it goes from a level 2 to a level 5 and getting a giant, and then look. So more, right, using the hut, using the monument, using more huts, and unsieging with a giant push. Like, how often do you see that from a level 2 to a level 5? Like, that's just so fun.
This is from the monthly tournament. We have our player in green here, Faust, versus our player in white, Bloodies. And our green player is going to do something interesting with push order. Isn't that right, Espark?
Yeah, so keep your eye on this 10 hit point warrior that's going to siege, right? So usually when a unit is pushed, it gets pushed in the order it was coming from. So it continues in the direction it was coming from. If it's a newly created unit, then it will get pushed towards the middle of the map. But if a unit is attacked, it will get pushed back. It will get pushed in the way it was attacked from, so where it retaliated. But this is different.
Normally, that warrior goes east onto the city, will get blocked by this mountain, and then ricochet down the clock wheel roulette until it gets pushed south. But because he attacked this warrior, this veteran swordsman, rather, it follows that north, then northwest, northeast. All those towers are blocked, and then ends up west instead of south. This is interesting stuff to keep in mind.
Yeah, very interesting push order. You got to keep track of where the units are going to get pushed when that giant pops them out. So this is a semi-final game between Astria and Alex 3 King. And the amazing thing about this game, right, is it goes on so long. I don't think I've ever seen a Polysseum game last this many turns.
No, absolutely not. Place your bets in the comments for how long you think it goes. The first thing I want to highlight is some of the awareness that our lime green player Alex has against what our dark green player Astria is going to do, where this city is vulnerable since it's got border growth on it to invasions, infiltrations by cloaks. So when the cloaks start coming out, we're actually going to see that Alex picks up forestry so that he can chop all of those forests. And I repeat that right here. All the forests are right there. It's very vulnerable to cloaks that have a forest defense bonus. So he's going to use this turn first, make some progress in the water in the west. And then he's going to go ahead and end the turn by chopping all of these forests.
Right, because if a cloak attacks, daggers will preferentially spawn on units with a defense bonus. So if the opponent has archery, then those daggers will spawn on those forests and they'll have a defense bonus.
Now that there's no defense bonus, these knights are a fantastic counter, and they can chain right through all those daggers.
Let's see.
All right.
Let's see the daggers.
How long does it go? Turn 57.
Oh my god. Turn 57.
Does not resign. He allows Alex to capture his capital 2 hours and 40-some minutes in on turn 57. Wonderful game.
But exhausting. Dang.
This is the creme de la creme, the top of the top, the monthly grand finals. This is the first game in a best of 3 series between our pink player ObeseReece and our green player Alex Viking, who you've been seeing their replays throughout this video. And our pink player makes a really interesting non-traditional decision here. What can you tell me about that, Espark?
Yeah, so pink decides on turn 11 to invest in a giant battleship to stop the opponent from getting that village, and they move on to the ruin. So it costs a lot to upgrade that defender to a battleship, but look, it pays off. They stop them from getting the village, they get the ruin, and the ruin gives them 10 stars. So to me, that was a really, again, non-traditional, but a choice that seemed to pay off.
High risk, and he got the reward it paid off for. Well done.
Okay, so this is the second game of the finals between Alex 3 King and Obese. And there's some couple key moments that are really fun, really kind of crazy, right?
Absolutely insane, one could even say. Got this really tough map situation for Obese. He's down a lot of cities. He's got 4. It doesn't feel like he has a lot of area to move or improve that. Whereas our yellow player Alex, he's going to have 6 cities, soon to be 7. He's trying to make something happen with a giant here, but it doesn't really look like it's going to end up with a siege. So he decides that he doesn't even need to siege. We skip for a few turns and we see he's just stepping on this ruin here, just waltzing all the way through those city borders all by himself. The waltz doesn't end just because he grabs the ruin. With that mountain vision, he sees a village, so we skip a few turns later, and the giant is just not attacking him at all. He's just capturing another city over here. And that's not even the end of it, is it, Espark?
Yeah, so not only does he decide to use his giant to explore and capture villages instead of attacking, he does this other thing where he makes a cloak and he uses the cloak to explore. So the one property of a cloak, right, is it has that sneak ability, so it can move through forests. So the cloak can move through forests. Forests do not act as a terminal tile. So the cloak just, strolls through the forest, looks for other villages. We can move ahead, right?
He just keeps going until he captures this city over here in the fog.
Yeah.
Turns it into this thing where he has Catapult on this city that he can't see. To just take it out and then end up sieging him with this cloak, which causes our yellow player to resign.
Yeah, really unusual stuff going on. That was great.
Alright, this is the very final game of the Quetzali Monthly series. We have Alex in green versus ObeseReece up there in the maroon, the red. The series is all tied 1-1. This is winner takes all game right here.
It's for all the marbles. It's for everything.
All the marbles.
Here we go.
And the thing is, we've seen Alex has made a critical blunder. We see at Quetzali's tech tree, they start off with strategy. They're right next to diplomacy. The cloaks are always up front. And he's on this city, Tekia.
Where?
He's picked up border
Zoom
growth.
in, let's see.
Right here. This is one of his rider.
Okay.
And it is in range of this cloak that ObeseReece has. When that cloak comes out, it's got so many different tiles they can pop up on, and it's a high-level city. It's going to spawn so many daggers. Alex has to do something about it, but instead, he allows the cloak to come through, and Obese is going to be chaining these cloaks, just constantly taking all that income, sapping it wholly from that city, which is going to help him out in this game immensely. Those cloaks are a menace. Playing your Quetz games, you gotta know that stuff.
Any other key moments in this game? Just more daggers coming out.
Yeah, just more and more daggers. And if you skip over to the end here, we see, the knights come out, they try to do something, but he's got archery too, another very common Quetz tech, and it's going to give them this defense bonus. Because Alex doesn't have hunting, doesn't have forestry, he can't chop like he did in his game against Astria, which makes these cloaks too difficult to deal with. He's going to start losing out over here in the east, probably facing a lot of pressure from his clock, and the cloaks, they just become too much for him. He can't deal with all this. He's going to end the game here at turn 21. Very dignified result. Congratulations to both players, of course, and special shout out to ObeseReece for making it all the way, winning grand finals and becoming a Polysseum champion.
Yeah, congratulations to ObeseReece. Well played.